Hi there, Charlie Jewett and Bobby Alford here from the Renovating Retirement Group. And one of the things we want to talk about here is just what is it like to have a conversation, or what should you expect with your first conversation with your salesman? That's why we're doing this, because it's a very scary thing. Who's a part of the Renovating Retirement Group or in this Renovating Retirement process. And the most important thing for you to probably understand is it's always good news, like you see on the screen here. This is the very first thing you see on our website anyway, and that's for a reason. We also have good news or goodnews.com, but that philosophy that really nothing bad can come from having a conversation with someone who works with the most comprehensive financial planning, group in the country. Whenever that stops being true, I'll stop saying it. So they can show me a plan that's more comprehensive than mortgage plan, estate plan, retirement plan, insurance plan, tax plan. I'll stop saying it. But for now, we offer the most comprehensive financial plan, the most thorough and well thought out financial plan in the industry. And the good news is that you're either perfect or you're not. Like, this is not a pressure system. Talking to a salesperson or a representative from any group is uncomfortable and might be bad news if the experience is unpleasant, and they can make it unpleasant by pushing. You've seen those salespeople, right, Bobby?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Have you ever had to deal with one?
I absolutely. I think everybody has. And what we do here, it's very different and is very non-pressure. Is this every step along the way is about education. Okay. We are all about, Charlie comes from a family of teachers. I come from the military. We're all about structured education, period. There's no, you good news or good news. You have done a perfect job in your retirement, and we give you high fives, and we might want to work with you and learn from you. Or we say, hey, we can make this a little bit better. And there's no pressure there as well. We could say, hey, we can make this a little bit better, but you decide it's not for you. All right. But you've now at least had your current plan stress tested. And that's where our holistic view of your entire retirement plan to and through retirement, as Charlie says, we want to make your golden years golden. There's no pressure, just education. And I'll tee it back up for you, Charlie, but that's my takeaway from this.
That's exactly right. So if you think about the conversation you're going to have, whether it's in an office or through a Zoom or by phone, whatever it is, it's an industry about data, not really trust and relationships like the industry tries to make it. You want to have your best friend be your advisor. Not really, not if they're not telling you the truth or have a license that makes them, work for a company that won't let them do what's best for you. Listen, the house you have to live in for the rest of your life is way more important than the realtor that sells it to you. Let's just put it like that, right? The salesperson, the door is less important than the room you end up in. And we are in this industry, and we see that we're just the door. We're just helping you get what you're going to have to live with for a really long time. The reason it's such good news, and kind of the way you can look at it, is kind of like a home inspection when they use that big checklist before we buy a house. And are there, termites, and is anything leaking? And when it comes back and says I found nothing wrong, everything is perfect, that's really good news. That's why you paid. Now, we don't charge a fee for ours. That's not the way the industry works. But why you pay is to have someone look at everything and be thorough and say, it's all perfect. Or I found that the slab is cracked and you don't buy the house. Are you upset that they found a problem? No, it saved you in the long run. I found mold, which could literally save you from dying, right? Or being sick. There's no bad news in seeing clearly. When the windshield of a car tells me there's a human in front of me, that's good news, because then I get to hit the brakes and not kill them. When it tells me there is a cliff coming or a tree in the road, it's good news. It's neutral data that lets you be a genius. And that's how our system has been built. We called it Windshield Financial. If we help people see clearly, perfectly clearly, in all of the areas that are necessary with every decision they need to make every decision as easy as, should I buy this toaster at one store where it's $40 or buy it over here where it's $10? If it's the same toaster and the stores are next to each other, you buy it at the store that has the lower price. Well, as it turns out, investments and retirement planning are often like that. Would you like guaranteed income or non-guaranteed income? People usually pick guaranteed, which is not the stock market. Would you like to have money that never goes backward, it doesn't experience losses and makes the same returns, or money that you have to go way down and back up and way down and wait for recovery? And eventually, historically, sometimes you get those returns. Most people pick no losses when the returns are the same. Would you like to have high income or low income? Most people pick high. Would you like to pay taxes or no taxes? We already know what you want, and so do you, before we meet, which is why it's not a relationship industry. It's a data industry. If we make it so easy for you to make all of the necessary decisions, you will find what 2,000 people have already found. financial planning and retirement planning are very easy to design and at times become hard for you to implement because you're going against the grain. When most of the people in the industry say that risk with a side of fees with no guarantees is the answer to every problem that any human could have financially, and then you learn some real truth or some sort of basic outside of the stock market thinking, outside of the traditions that works better, it challenges you a little bit. I'm not saying our process feels the best to go against what your dad did, to do what's different than your parents did, to not have, to go to parties and have people be like, wait, you're doing what? You're not doing what we're all doing? To be the one who's going against the grain, swimming up the river while everyone's like, no, it's this way. And you're like, no, I was there. I saw a waterfall. I'm not going over there, right? When you're the one going against the grain, it can feel different, not as comfortable, but seeing perfectly clearly, having all of your options be incredibly easy feels really, really good. Now, these three models, Bobby,
I would add education is not always easy.
No, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So these are the models that we've come up with starting when it was just me in 2005. And now, we're I don't know if you call us a small group or a big group, depends on how you define it, but we're a group of people working together using these three models. And I have them in the order really that I created them. We actually use them in a different order, but let's talk about comprehensiveness. Most advisors are in either retirement planning or investment. The number one most popular thing that someone has, or a human that someone has in their lives that they call their retirement planner or financial advisor, is actually an investment advisor, someone that chooses how you gamble in a non-guaranteed open exchange, the stock market. They cannot tell you what you're going to earn. They can't tell you what income you're going to get. They can't tell you how it's going to be taxed. They can't tell you how much is going to be there when you pass away. They can't tell you anything except for, I think you should put it in these places and let's hope for the best. And I charge a fee for that. That is the investment advisory industry. I carry that license. No one can argue that. Everyone has stopped being willing to debate me. It is a fact that you cannot plan for anything with variable investments. You can't plan for anything without knowing what the results are going to be. That's not what planning means. So most people have one of these. We use all five. Mortgage planning, estate planning, retirement planning, insurance planning, and tax planning is our model. That's what we're looking at. That's like saying building a house, I need a plumber, I need an electrician, I need a drywaller, I need a framer, I need a roofer. There's more than just plumbing in building a house, and there's more than just gambling with someone's money and charging a fee in getting someone to and through retirement. I won't go deeper into it with all the passion I have on my podcast, but that it is bigger than that. So we use the biggest model that we could create or find, which is everything financial in your life. The mortgage happens to be at times the biggest liability and biggest asset in the entire family. To ignore it would be really strange. Taxes. Are taxes important to what you end up with as far as an income in retirement, Bobby?
Yes, they are. That's the biggest relationship you cannot control. And I say relationship because the person taxing you is the other side of that equation. And you cannot control that unless you plan ahead. And knowing what the tax rates are going to be in 30 years, nobody can say. But what we can say is we know what they are today. We know what they are in the very near future, and we can plan accordingly, strategically throughout your entire life. And that merit model, I would add, the architect, we call ourselves financial architects. Charlie has obviously gone through the construction metaphor here. There was an architect involved in getting the plans together for the framer, the plumber, the electrician, all of them to come together. And if you have those people in your life already, you already have a mortgage guy, you already have a tax CPA, things like that. If you already have those, great. It's even better because we're going to come alongside those teams. We're not going to fight them. We're not going to take their business from them. We are going to work with them in order to get the best results for you. That's really what we do with the merit model. If we happen to be in those places for you, great. If we're not, we're going to work alongside your team until you see one of us does not bring you value. And if that ever happens, then we'll change. But if not, we're going to make sure that that team member, wherever they fall in the merit model, gets the most out of what you need for your retirement.
Exactly. And accidentally, they usually make more money out of learning our systems and becoming partners with us. And the second model here, the three N's, the three types of money, sometimes I call it, This was just a realization that people get paid to keep you in the stock market. And when you stop working and need an income, the normal, what's called a financial advisor, will just keep you in risk. They say put more in bonds and more in stocks, and then have you try to take an income from that. And the average consumer doesn't know to ask or to push back a little bit and say, well, how long will it last? And get them to say, we don't know. It depends on market performance. And how much can I take? And have them say, oh, we don't really know. We have to guess. You could be wrong and run out of money. Is there anything higher than that? They're definitely not going to tell you, yeah, you should go somewhere else because our competitors pay more. But that's what I found was true. While you're working, you have three types of money. In case account, that's your emergency funds. You have an income, of course, that's your paycheck or whatever you take from your business. And then you have your retirement accounts and what you're saving. What is retirement about? It has always been about income. Why don't you spend all of the money in your life? Why do you even have 401ks, IRAs, 457s, 403bs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, insurance, annuities? Why do you accumulate rental properties? Why do you accumulate a chunk of money somewhere else? It's because this one in the middle goes away. The definition of retirement is when you have all these three and the middle one goes away. Sometimes you get Social Security and pensions, but they don't really make up for it. So this nest egg, this chunk, has to turn back into streams. We call it chunks and streams. It has always been about the income it gives you. An account that's worth $1 giving you $10,000 a month is of course better than an account worth $1 million giving you $1 a month. It's about the paycheck. And then you come over here, it's about how much of the paycheck you're keeping after the IRS. These are the two most important parts. I am telling you, tax planning and income planning are the two most important parts of a retirement. And a portfolio of stocks, bonds, and mutual funds without anything else can't do it for you. So we've had to think outside the box. So three types of money, making sure that on Friday, you're making $9,000 a month, and on Monday, you're making $9,000 a month, even if you quit your job. That's the retirement plan. Then finally, and we'll wrap it up here, Bobby, the 5 Lives of Retirement test. This was a dream of mine for a long time. In the 80s or 90s, whatever it was, there was that band called the Crash Test Dummies that had some cool songs, right? And I've seen those commercials where they destroy beautiful cars I wish they would give me. And when the dummies stop breaking their necks, they sell the cars to us dummies and we tell them what else is wrong with them, right? But this is a way to test the current plan that you have. Again, I told you our process is not about pressure and sales. It's about clarity. Let's ask your current plan, not your advisor. This is not about your advisor. It is not a relationship. It's what you have. What house do you live in? Not what realtor sold it to you. What car do you drive? Not where'd you buy it? What do you have and what will it do for you? We can ask your current financial plan. If we live to 120, 130, what income can we have? How much will it be? Will it go up? And will it last forever? Most people, the answer is we don't know. It depends on market performance. The plan fails. How much money will my spouse have, wife or husband or whatever? How much money will the people have when I pass away? And will it pay the bills? I don't know. It depends on market performance. That's a problem. Can I afford long-term care for me or my partner or spouse? If it's, make up a number, $8,000 a month for 2 or 3 years, will they still be fine after I consume all that? If the answer is, I don't know, it depends on market performance, it fails this test. If you care about leaving money behind after taking the income that we want and covering inflation and everything with these expected expenses, taking trips and everything, when we pass away, how much are we leaving to the next generation or charities? If the answer is, I don't know, it depends on market performance, it fails this test. Now, you don't have to make everybody rich. I'm not saying it's the most important test. I'm saying when a current financial plan fails 4, and they are the 4 most important tests out of 5. What is rough life? Can I get my money if my washing machine breaks? Can I have access to some money if my car breaks? It's emergencies. Yes. A giant portfolio of stocks, bonds, and mutual funds with no thought is liquid. Of course you can. It passes the least important test because literally you could have $20,000 sitting in the bank. You'll probably be fine. The ones that matter, it fails. So what you're going to find when you talk to somebody on our team is a loving, educational person using a clarity approach, not a pressure approach. It's not a sales system, though technically we're in the sales industry because we have something that you purchase, by the way, at no cost.
Right.
You take money you already have and move it from inferior to superior and don't pay a fee to anybody. You just upgraded, like refinancing a mortgage from 5% to 3%. Now that sometimes has costs, but if nobody charged you any title fees or anything, it was free, had no cost. That's more, that's a close analogy here. You're gonna have a conversation with a really nice, educated, educational person who walks you through seeing your current financial plan more clearly than you ever have. helping you design the financial plan of your dreams. What's the right thing to eat tonight? I don't know. Let's go to the grocery store and see what you like. You know what I mean? You make the one you want. The financial plan, there's an infinite number of different ways to build a financial plan. You get exactly what you want. And as we started with, we'll end with, the good news is that nothing bad can happen. You're going to talk to an incredible person who's either going to pat you on the back and say, great job, and probably try to hire you if you've built your own financial plan and it's perfect, or you're going to pick up information at no cost that's so incredibly valuable to you, and you're going to have more income or pay less taxes in the future. So I don't know. Aside from that, I don't have any strong opinions on the subject.
Right. Yeah. And I think at a minimum, if you're seeing this video, someone cares about you enough to bring this to your attention, giving you some education. Like we said, this is education, good news or good news. And if they've brought this to you and you've gone this far in the video, congratulations to you. You're taking your retirement or financial life into your hands. And that can be a little daunting, but also a wonderfully fulfilling process, because you know that you have your reins in your hands for the rest of your life. And that's, to me, that's the most empowering part.
Exactly. So from Bobby and I, a heartfelt welcome to the Renovating Retirement world. I hope you love it as much as so many other families have, and maybe one day we'll meet you.
All right. Take care.